everybody, and welcome to the Big G Show, a webcast for kaiju fans. I'm your host, Gary, and on this episode, we're going to count down my top 7 favorite non-Godzilla kaiju films of all time. Let's get started with number 7. Any ideas? Well, I can tell you, it's like a flying battleship.
Number 7, The Giant Claw. Released in 1957 on a double bill with Night the World Exploded. Yes, this makes number 7 on our list. Now I know, you think I'm crazy, but hear me out here first. The story, the actors, pretty solid in this movie. It's just, yeah, that guy right there, yeah, he's a little bit on the cheesy side. You see, the producers wanted to use stop-motion models created by Ray Harryhausen, which would have been awesome, but the budget wouldn't allow it. So instead, we go south of the border to Mexico City and have a low-budget model maker create, yep, the Giant Claw. It's kind of like that Plan 9 from outer space effect. It's so bad, it's good. And then throughout the story, they refer to the Giant Claw as, it's like a flying battleship. Well, it's not like a flying battleship. It's like a flying fuzzball with feathers, and it's really bad. In fact, so bad, it's good. And thus, I guess I'm going to put it at number 7 on the list. Number 6, War of the Gargantuas. With direction by Ishiro Honda and a great score by Akira Ifukube, this Toho movie was bound to be a classic. War of the Gargantuas was released in Japan July 1966. It was not released in America, though, until 1970. But it was worth the wait, kiddies, because it was on a double bill with Monster Zero. That's right, Monster Zero and War of the Gargantuas together. You could go to your local drive-in back in 1970 and see both of these epic movies. How awesome would that be? Now, one of the stars of this movie has gotten a little bit of flack for his acting performance in it. Yep, I'm talking about Russ Tamblyn. Now, I've watched this a few times before I voted it at number 6, and I got to tell you, I didn't have a problem with his performance at all. Although he had to redub his own voice because of a malfunction in the soundtrack. Yep, the whole movie he had to react in a sound studio. That had to kind of be a little bit of a downer. Now, this is geared towards kids, as a lot of the Toho movies were back in this time. But the Green Gargantua ate people. Yeah, he ate people and then spit out their clothes. That kind of freaked me out when I was a little kid. And this is also actually a sequel to Frankenstein Conquers the World. Although, if you're watching the American version, as you know, all references to that movie were cut out. Oh well, I guess we're going to have to find the Japanese version of this great movie. Number 5, Mothra. Alright, another Toho movie, directed again by Ishiro Honda. Mothra was released in July 1961 in Japan, and in the U.S. of May 1962. It was on a double bill with the Three Stooges in Orbit. I don't know what that's all about. I don't know who came up with that idea. It doesn't really work for me. Interesting fact about this movie, there was a scene explaining the origins of Mothra and the fairies, but it was deemed too long, and they ended up dropping it from the final draft. I wish they hadn't done that. Mothra was very popular in Japan. She would go on to become the second most popular kaiju next to Godzilla, appearing in 7 Godzilla films along with her own. Yeah, you know, that trilogy in the 90s. Spoiler alert, none of those made my list. If you've seen any of them, I think you know why. Some of the music in this was performed by the Peanuts. Yep, the fairies were also known as the Peanuts in Japan, a very popular music group back then.
Alright, we're not quite halfway through, but before we go any farther, we'd like to do a segment now called Versus, where we take 2 things and put them head to head, and you, the fans, get to vote on which one you like better. First up, Godzilla's Legendary versus Pacific Rim, mainly their main title themes. Let's take a listen. Which one did you like better, Godzilla or Pacific Rim? You can email us at itsthebiggshow@gmail.com and cast your vote. The first person that does that gets this fabulous Godzilla magnet and some stickers from us at the show. But if you're not the first, don't worry. We'll draw 2 random names, and then you will also get some stickers from us. Okay, let's go back to the countdown. Let's see who's next.
Number 4, Damajin. Released in Japan in 1966 and in the US back in 1968, Damajin is the first movie in a trilogy. The interesting fact about this trilogy is they filmed all 3 movies at the same time and then released them 1 year apart thereafter. It's your typical story. It's a giant statue that comes to life to protect the people of a small village against an evil warlord. Yep, nothing out of the ordinary here. Yeah, right. Check this out. This statue is just epic looking. Yeah, these guys, they're not going to be doing too good. Yep. Yeah, I'm up on a tower and giant statues come to life. Not a good place to be. Yeah, timber. I just really like this movie and the trilogy for that matter. Having to pick one out of the 3 trilogies, it's really easy for me. Trilogies, I always go with the first one because that's the one that kind of starts things off. And this one does not disappoint. Thus, it lands on our list. Damajin. Number 3, Pacific Rim. Ah yes, Pacific Rim. It's got to make my list of the top 7, doesn't it? Can I tell you something that you don't already know about this movie? Probably not. How many times did you guys see it in the theater? How many times have you seen it since it came out on DVD? Well, let me just tell you this. It was released in July of 2013 here in the States, and it had a budget of $190 million. You could probably add up all of the budgets of the Godzilla movies over the years and probably not come up with that much. But what an awesome movie. The action is just non-stop through. The kaiju shows up in like the first 30 seconds of the movie. Look at this, just going through the air. Trash. Boom! Yeah, good stuff. Interesting thing about this film, they designed over 100 kaiju and 100 Jaegers. Each week, the staff would vote for what their favorite was, and that would be the one that they'd use in the movie. I guess that's kind of a cool way to do it. And also, the movie is dedicated to the memory of 2 master monster makers, Ray Harryhausen, special effects stop-motion master, and director Ishiro Honda, who did, of course, Godzilla, and many other Toho movies. They were kind of linked together in a weird kind of way. Honda was born May 7th, 1911, while Ray died May 7th, 2013. 2 greats in the